Welcome to Boozy Browsing. I'm Miki.
And I'm Matt.
So today we're going to generate a website. We'll explain what type of website it is in a little bit with AI and see how well it builds it and how practical it is. And we'll do some review on it. So Matt, explain what we're building.
Yes, we decided to do, since we're so popular now, we need to have some merch, right? We need to sell some stuff. Also because I need some money. But we're going to build an e-commerce site. We're going to try to build an e-commerce site just by doing some prompting and see what happens. We got a logo from Boozy Browsing. Obviously, maybe we'll create some t-shirts, stickers. Maybe it's t-shirts, stickers, hats. Yeah.
Anyway, so to start, I'm actually debating if I want the vodka seltzer or wine. I want to go with. Now I actually got the smaller version to show. It's actually my favorite, becoming my favorite because, like, for some reason, this one is the least sweet white wine I can find. So I try like other expensive ones, but I like this one.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna.
I was up in the mountains this last weekend and up at Estes Park, and it's actually Crystal Springs Brewing Company. It's another Colorado, but it's a rotated coffee butch. It's a pale ale, which I don't typically like.
Coffee. Ooh,
But I figured coffee would be like a little darker, maybe. We will see.
You're gonna be like all like.
Well, it's my coffee time. It's my afternoon coffee, anyways. So
Okay.
I'm gonna get like high and low from the beer.
All right. All right. So.
Oh, 1 second. This is gonna be a tough one. Okay. I taste the coffee.
To change it.
I don't think I'm allowed to change. Well, I have to go all the way out and get a different one. We're gonna go with this. Maybe the coffee will start to come up above the ale part. I don't really like ale.
Maybe like it will just kind of like brighten up your brain. I don't know. All right.
Okay.
So our tool for AI is Manus. Is it Manus? Manus? I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, Man US. I don't know. It's not US based though. We know that. We've been told.
We've been told that it's not US
very much
based.
Chinese based.
Right. So that's the caveat. So we try not to put any sensitive information in here. But other than that, we're testing it a couple days ago from Stumble Upon It, and it's been pretty powerful because of multiple agents compared to other AI ones. So we're gonna try that, and then let's see. I'll just start sharing so we can look at it.
Yeah, I guess we can talk while it's doing it because it does take a while once you put stuff in.
So let me put the entire screen. All right. Get here. So that's Manus, and then this is our website, so we'll probably reference it in a way. So what am I typing here?
So let's go with, I would like to create a e-commerce site selling merch such as t-shirts, hats, stickers.
Our site?
Yeah, exactly.
Do we need to explain?
So we need to have it prompt to give it, because we're wanting to get a prompt from Manus.
We will put to, what is it? What was the name of the application you're using?
Bolt.new.
Bolt.new? Can you see what I'm typing?
Yes. Yeah, I can. That looks right.
We'd like to get a prompt that we would use for
the last time we asked it, we need to understand what our first steps for building, launching, and marketing this product.
Oh, right.
So that way we can get everything. We don't just want a website. We want to get people to go there.
We also want to get a business plan to Uh, is trying to create the site, launch the site, marketing, and, how to get generate leads, as well as how to link.
Basically, this is going to replace our marketing agency, right? That we don't have.
And also, do we want to give a revenue goal for time frame?
If we could sell one item, it'll be awesome. That's not a very good revenue goal.
No, I will actually say it so that we can have the plan. We can just kind of, this is more like a demo purpose anyway.
I don't think, yeah, for what we're trying to do, just building the website,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise it's going to take too long to research, I think.
Oh, okay. Do we want any specific instructions on design?
No, because you've got the one site, and we can change that. We can change the markup or markdown actually
Okay.
when we input it into
Follow
Pulp, or
the
even make it change it after.
style of our main site. Do we want to specify what language?
Yeah, let's let it figure it out.
Okay. All right. We'll start with that. Oh, ask any questions to clarify. And also analyze.
All right, then we wait. We wait 2 months for the marketing team to come back with our plan, right?
All right. So we'll have to create a e-commerce solution, your merch business. I'll analyze the existing website, understand the brand style, create both detailed prompt for both new and complete business plan for marketing strategy. Let me start with examining your current site. Do we want to show what's going
Yeah,
on?
might as well so it can see, so we can all see. So why don't you, and also go ahead and share, so like share it with me. That way I can pull it up quicker. Yeah. So if folks aren't familiar with Manus, which we weren't a week or two ago, it's just another AI tool, LLM, but seems to do a lot more research. And it also seems to format the output in a more digestible format. So it's doing all this. You can actually let it sit. You could have big stuff to go overnight, really do anything you want, which other ones can do as well. But I feel like for me, I really like the way it outputs things. Well, seeing what it's doing, but also, is it going to pick big?
Yeah, big
I don't
commerce.
want a paid plan. I don't want to pay for this. Is it really doing a commerce selection for us? Interesting.
Well, yeah, what's interesting about Manus is that it gives you all this research and planning, and I think it gives a to-do list, and it goes checks off and handles all the tasks they defined. It's interesting. It took me a little while to figure out what on the right was doing compared to what on the left was doing.
Right.
But, yep. Oh wow! It actually gives the accessibility, security, mobile optimization. I mean, we didn't really give like a wireframe type of thing, so we'll just see how this comes out.
No, I think that's why I did the research and looked at some
Other sites.
other sites and what templates are out there. So I'm assuming it's going to give some kind of product page, product detail, obviously, but then product listing page and some kind of homepage. That would be, and then of course a checkout process. It's really going to be interesting to see if it does all of this from scratch or if it wants to build it in some other tool.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, because we didn't specify it. We just wanted
Yeah.
to be like full
I think
custom.
we could do another, depending on how long this takes. Like I was, so I've had Bolt build a WordPress plugin for me, and it did a pretty good job at like replicating the functionality that I asked. I wonder if it could build a theme.
Oh, that's interesting.
like a theme file.
Mm.
Um, because then you could, and then based on WooCommerce, you could have it build a WooCommerce site, and then it's not a SaaS. But I'm thinking it's going to be like fully custom
No.
because so Bolt has integrations with Stripe directly. So I do wonder if it'll give you a checkout process that integrates with Stripe.
Oh, interesting. The one I use, I didn't use Bolt. I just used Manus to just come
Mhm.
up with um the one pager update for WordPress site using Elementor. It didn't do that job. Like, so it literally
Yeah.
just gave me the HTML file. So it wasn't something I can just cut and paste to do it. So I ended up just rebuilding it based on the wireframe they gave me. But if you're a non-technical person who doesn't know how to update any of those, it's probably gonna be confusing.
Yeah. So I've got the prompt. Why don't we switch sharing?
Okay.
All right. So on the right, we've got the markdown. So create a modern, blah, 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 with some specifications. Where are your poor decisions? That's kind of cool. It comes up with copy.
Oh, that's
We'll see
cute.
about, I can't translate hex anymore, but those don't seem right to me. That looks like, maybe.
It is because it's a very dark bar
Yeah,
blue
you're
color.
right. Okay,
Yeah,
and then black. Okay, we'll see.
it's like a
Design
neon.
aesthetic, cyberpunk that's pretty accurate. Homepage, featured products, about a newsletter sign up, product catalog. I mean, I would obviously look in more detail if I actually cared about the output, but I don't. Shopping cart, checkout process. Okay, so it should tell us here's technical features. So commerce functionality, that's all fine. Performance and SEO, fine. I want to see what platform it's picking. Sign messaging tone, so we can edit that. Third-party services. That's interesting. I didn't think about Printify and like actually creating the products.
Hmm,
Cool.
convert it.
G4, sure. Accessibilities. All right. So the one I did, it gave me the option to like pick, like actually architect my platform.
Hmm.
This doesn't. I mean, it doesn't have it in here. Obviously, I could edit and add it, but I just want to see what it's going to create. It's going to take a little bit, but I'm taking all that, just going to copy, go to Bolt, start a new one, and watch it start building. So I am no longer on the free plan, so it should eat into my credits nicely.
Neither was I. But yeah, I mean, Bolt. I haven't used Bolt. I just signed up for Cursor just to test it out.
Yeah.
It's a little different. It's actually an app, so I'll let you know how it's like. I think I used a different tool before just to test it out.
Yeah.
I forgot the
The,
name
the
of it.
thing I found, well, it'll show later. So we can integrate with our GitHub repo. So that's how you can actually do development. Once it outputs whatever it's going to do the first time, I can keep interacting. This is basically vibe coding, right? So we can vibe code away, let it do its thing, but it's committing into repo, which I can then access through my code editor, which has its Copilot through Microsoft, obviously, but I can then edit it, and then it'll see my updates or the team. Um, the downside that I've seen on Bolt is that it's going to integrate with my personal account, and I can't get it to go to I can't get it to see all of the accounts I'm associated with.
Hmm.
They have a team version. Maybe that would open things up. Not
Oh,
really sure. So it's like for us, right? We have an Endeavor Inc. GitHub um, company page or whatever, right? That has repositories inside of it. I then fork to my personal. But what's happening is I have my own Matthew Dorman one. It creates a repo. I'm not going to fork to Endeavor. That's backwards.
right.
So what I've been doing for now is that creating another repo in Endeavor, and then it's just a remote. And then I
Okay.
have my own fork from that. And then I'm kind of acting like this is another developer, and it commits to mine. and then I look at it. I push it. I'll push it into the Endeavor, and then the fork of Endeavor as its own remote, and then I can then open pull requests. I can do standard stuff, and it's doing commits, so it's pretty easy to see what it's doing.
But for now, it's probably better because you can still code review because you want to review it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost want this workflow kind of works if I could actually tie it into Endeavor and have its own, because you can tell it which branch to push into.
Right.
So that's fine.
Make the pull request from there. Okay.
It just, that extra step is a little messy to me. Or have it have its own account, which I could have done, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Then it's its own user. Because right now it's basically, it's committing, but I'm having to do it myself as like the lead. I'm sure I can find other ways of doing this, but this is after like 4 days of working with it.
But by looking at it, it looks like it's creating a React.
Yeah, it looks like it's React.
Yeah.
So totally fine. It will be interesting to see. I'm not going to go through the whole. So there's a backend. You can do backend integrations for databases and stuff like that. I'm assuming most of this is just going to be stored in files, which is fine for this demo. Like what I like about this is that it'll maintain. So if I have a conversation with it and continue to upgrade this, it will maintain the finalized files. You know, my biggest complaint about non-final files.
Right.
People creating files all over the place. So it'll always have a final record of what's the last kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm sure if you scroll through it, you'll see all the other ones, but it's not just a conversation and you have to go up and see what you talked about and grab it. It's always going to be at the end of this UI, which we haven't even gotten to the point where it gets to that.
This is very interesting. I'm reading through the business plan right now. It's executive summary. It gave me like the type of site the Boozy Browsing is. It's a podcast site, and then what we are and what we do, and it was giving the final projection of indicated the potential for significant revenue growth, with conservative estimates suggesting 50,000 to 100,000 annual revenue within the first year, scaling to 200,000 to 500,000 by year 3 for this merch store.
Clearly hasn't watched any of our or listened to any of our podcasts.
We just started like 2 weeks ago. And key success factors include leveraging the existing podcast audience, creating design that resonate with the community's inside jokes and shared experiences, maintain high product quality, and implementing effective digital marketing strategies. The cyberpunk aesthetic and cocktail-themed design will differentiate the merchandise from generic tech apparel while building stronger community identity. Yeah, if you do it right, it's like that's the hard part. And it gave me the mission statement, vision statement, core values, business structure, competitive advantage, market analysis, target market analysis.
In the business plan, I'm seeing it created some personas also.
Yeah, customer personas. Private persona, developer Dave, age 28 to 38. It's actually correct. Designer Sarah.
Yep.
First year startup Steve, also correct. This is
very. We have to find these people.
What? Yeah, we need to
find these real people.
All right. This is pretty good.
I mean, this was just basically linking it to the website, not even giving it any information about us and it did some research. So I saw further up that it said, where was it? It's basically saying our experience somehow. Yeah, the team's web development background ensures a superior e-commerce experience from the site's performance.
This is very interesting because our site is really simple too. We just have a one pager.
Just one page, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a WordPress site, but because we have some recipes on the cocktails, so one of the only reasons I actually pick WordPress as to just like a static one page is to have that and maybe put the episodes later on. But with that one pager information, they can draw this much information. is interesting. Um, Obviously, probably up to
Go
the
back
whole
over.
thing to see if it's
Oh,
overanalyzed or not.
awesome. We got some errors.
Ooh,
All right, so created all the files. It had a problem. Some routes. I found like it doesn't always finish everything.
that's
So
yeah.
if it works, let's. I get some comments, and not about this one specifically, but in general. I've come to realize, and this again, for this one specifically, it's only a couple of days working with it, but I've started to realize I feel like I'm now back maybe 10, 12 years ago working with an offshore development team that we've hired,
Hmm.
and it's much faster, like the back and forth is faster, but I feel like every time I submit an issue,
Yeah.
I get a different developer to fix my issue. Because, and
Oh,
this is why, because they not only will either fix or break the issue, they'll make changes that I didn't ask for
I
in
see.
other code. And they like, it's almost like it's competing with who wants to change it a different way. Um,
I see your point. Yeah, I had
it's
the.
been very interesting to watch the code, like actually look at all the code that gets changed.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel like I'm working with the same person every time, which is really, it's not a person. It's really weird. But look at this. Like, okay, that's a little fuzzy, but
I think
it
it overdid the glowing.
it went from look at this website,
So yeah,
which
that
has
was the color
nothing,
that we put in to like a neon kind of feel, and that green
to
was the only one that I really put to kind of match that. Oh wow, look at that.
it even named some of the. Oh, I was
I
hoping it
think
would
we
put
need to tone down.
logos.
I think we need to tone down on the glowing on the
Yeah.
thing because like I wanted to make it a little neony, but then it
Oh
just
yeah, this is
more.
too much.
Yeah,
All right, so let's so CSS changes are really pretty quick. Let's
yeah.
do that one first. Let's tone down on the glowing of the fonts. Um, they're they're just we need to make them more crisp, but not too crisp.
We need a slight hint of it, or we don't need it at all.
That was
Actually.
my Whisper app.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still on the verge to get it because I know if I get it, I might be too reliant on that. So
Uh,
I'll wait. I'll wait.
yeah, it's called Whisper Flow. It's
Yeah,
especially as I keep if I keep drinking along the podcast.
it
Let's
might
see how
not.
my text to speech that figures out my slurs.
Yeah, and it's gonna just kind of create something pretty different.
All right, so it did a
Oh, look
bunch
at
of
that.
stuff.
Nice.
So definitely it went too far, but like it almost took it completely out.
No, I actually like it on the logo part.
That's good.
The
Yeah.
Boozy bronzing, it toned down a lot. I kind of like that amount of glowing.
So I wonder. Yeah. So I want to see the product detail pages are great and the photos are great, but I want to see our logo on the t-shirts that we're selling and not just generic t-shirts and hoodies. Also, same thing with the products like hats and stuff. No, let's just go for it.
Wow.
Can't type that fast, can you? But
I'll still wait. Convince me a couple more days and I might get it.
yeah, I do wonder how functional this is. Obviously, it doesn't have an integration to Stripe yet, but
Do all the navigation links work?
it should. Mm,
Episode 100. We're on episode 4. Maybe that's a
all right,
goal
let's
that we
see.
can make.
Limited edition episode 100. When we get there, all right, so it should refresh. Yeah, I'll not do it just in case. All right. Changed a lot. I don't know where these images came from.
What are those? Oh, that's the sample.
The first ones were way better. What happened?
That's one of the sample recipe, the what's it called? Cocktail ingredient.
Well, I'm talking about the images though. What happened
I
to
don't know, like it's just like went to all this weird, and also it
the
didn't
product
pick up.
images are completely different now. We want to see the real products like a t-shirt or a hoodie or a hat, not just generic photos. I mean, obviously you would put this isn't a real world. Well, none of this is real world, but you would have real products, but we're faking as much as we can.
Yeah, if anything, I would think that they'll pick up because we have what two, no, four recipes up,
Yeah.
but it didn't pick up any of those. It
Look
just
at the I
but
can't
those
rename
images
it.
are actually
Oh,
funny to be a T-shirt design.
so this is actually working, like fully functional. Obviously, it pulls in libraries that has a lot of this, but still.
What's with the
All
what's with
right,
the glowing circle with the lock?
on the homepage.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
Oh, that looks weird.
I don't know. Um, so card is empty. Let's see. Let's see if I can add. Says it did. Look at that. Continue shopping. Proceed to check out. Give me some errors.
Wow.
I mean, and so this is the hard part, right? This looks like it's almost done.
Right. But you're getting up with
It's
all this other, yeah.
it's way further than you could ever get before in this amount of time.
Hmm.
But it's not done. Like
No, no.
not even like you said, do all the links work? No. Like it was supposed to create an about us, but it did not.
Did it create FAQ?
It's kind of cool. Now that was gone too. But I mean, then you just go in, create an FAQ page, and it should update the link as well.
I think the hardest part
Typical
is
person.
integrating the actual payment and also
Yeah.
making sure that it's secure. Oh,
Whatever. Failed to resolve. Does the file exist? No. So it's figuring it out.
yeah.
We'll be fine.
But it's
Just
impressive.
drink more and watch your fake developer work.
Yeah, and then this is gonna make me drunk and gonna start trashing the site. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. So it had it. Did it update this link?
Whoa, look at that.
Yes, it did. How long does shipping take?
And it made a little filter as well. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
Oh, and it updated based on your recommendations on weird photos.
Yeah, but it's still. I mean,
Yeah, it's all
again, you would have to
right.
upload images.
Well, that's
Um,
obvious. Yeah, because you're not gonna.
I don't even know what the CMS of this looks like. That's the other thing. Like you have to have a product. So it'll tell you all the. Yeah, it's not showing me there. Let's see. How do I edit products? Look at that. It's going to set up a product management system for me.
Oh wow. So, can you go back to the footer? What else is there that they put in? So, okay. What edition?
So privacy terms.
Are they all there?
These are all shop links. These are just fake, ready to update.
Do
See
they
it.
give you the
It's going to refresh
privacy?
when it finishes this.
Oh, okay.
Um, did it tell
They
me how
put
to?
the
Oh, so I
about
get
page
to.
too.
So I go to /admin. Little wide open, but
Can you update? Does it take?
good question. Let's find one that we know. So fix it or drink it. do T2. Yeah. Well, so it's not tied to a database yet.
Oh, okay. So
Like you, oh wait, so it did it here. Maybe it didn't. Yeah.
it didn't. Okay.
Um,
That's a little way too good to be true.
you can. So, I mean, the one I built out with it, um, I have a database. So it's fully integrated with a backend database. Checkout process will send like it'll give you all of the standard emails also of a typical kind of user flow, but then you'd want to integrate with something else.
I mean, keep in
So
mind that this was done in like 30 minutes, so which is
yeah, I
impressive.
mean, so I can now integrate with Stripe directly, I guess. Um, Supabase is it's a I don't know if they're owned by the same company. I've seen them on a few different other ones. So Supabase is its own platform, but it's basically a SaaS database. But it has an API that you can build on top of it too. So pretty cool. I mentioned GitHub. Um, I really would like to see two things on this. One, build out, like I said, a WordPress template.
Right.
That'd be kind of cool. But this could be, you could put this as a decoupled headless on top of WordPress, WooCommerce, or shop, or one of the other ones. But I built out a page for us that basically has a fully static generated site, nice simple marketing material, and then the blog is a headless on top of a WordPress, just a plain vanilla WordPress site, just doing blogging. And so it has a blog landing page and a blog detail pages and all SEO compliant, AIEO, I guess, artificial intelligence,
Oh, okay.
engine optimized, whatever the new term will be. Um, so it has all those features, but it's fully static generated on the front end, and then only doing the blog for WordPress. So the typical headless, and I did that in probably an hour, just demoing the other site we're building for us.
So this was done in like about what, 30 minutes or so?
Yeah, because we were talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then because we were actually getting the actual prompt from it, and it was giving all this other information to get to the prompt for that. But how far ahead is this? So like what are the remaining work for this? Like obviously we need to integrate with Stripe. Does that can that be done with AI, or does it need human interaction for it?
That part will need human interaction because you'll have to use your account.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll go to Stripe. So it's going to do the back end part of it. But
Mm-hmm.
then I have to go to Stripe, get an API key, and then add it here.
Okay.
It's almost that simple. You then have to tie in some kind of email system. Um, Again, Supabase has it. I don't know if other ones do. And those are all the like click and do it. Those three integrations are all the like no brainer. Anything outside of that, you need to go through GitHub and start editing on your local. But it's React. I mean, and it has. I built a Next.js.
Yeah.
I tried a few other ones. Like I said, I built a WordPress plugin, which
Right.
was interesting. Um, so it can build almost scarily anything.
The next question is the super base is the database portion of it.
Mhm.
Right now, it's not updating when you try to edit. That's probably because we don't have a connection to the database.
Yep.
Is that easy to do, or is that also required
So that's really
human
easy.
interaction?
I'm not going to go to our Stripe account because it's our company one, but I can do that because it's just a account that I created. So I've got a couple other ones. We've got a product that we're going to try to reach.
You don't necessarily have to demo it,
I
but
can only have two
more like
projects.
questions on how much of that can be. So I'm just trying to assess how much of it can be automated by just this, and how much of it we need to put in with a developer to make sure the integration points are all connected.
I think your proof of concept MVP even
Okay.
is built here. for sure. It's when you get into the tip. Well, so I would say even when you get into typical like, oh, I want this a little shorter or things like that. But I could tell it like let's see how quick it'll do this. I want my product images on the product listing pages to be more like a 16 by 9 versus a vertical. See if it even knows what I said. It probably will. So it'll change that. Since the CSS thing, it'll probably be pretty quick. Oh, I had to change some code.
Oh wow.
Um, so it might be changing the actual images, maybe.
Okay.
Like not just cropping
Look
them
at
with
that.
CSS.
They changed it.
Oh yeah, it did right there. So I mean, you can get the problem is that, like I was saying, the more I interact with it, every time I send something there,
Hmm.
if I'm looking at the code, it probably did more than I asked for in these
Right.
files.
It just did. Yeah.
Um, and it will break things. And then the next person you ask to fix it will break other things. I
Hmm.
mean, I say person,
Yeah.
but that's the reality, I think, of a vibe only coding scenario on this is that if you don't have an expert looking at things that are being done, you're going to end up in big problems pretty quickly. And then there's revert, which is kind of cool on this tool. I think some of the other ones have it as well. I can go up here and revert.
Hmm.
Um, I've tried that and it does work sometimes. It's when you like, oh, you got too far and it's like, this is the one that broke it. It's really hard once you
Oh, to
start doing
just
that.
cherry pick the things. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to go into the repo, make the changes, either in Git and just remove that commit, do whatever. But that's simple if you're a developer, and then you commit it, and then you update. It's I don't know of a better process. You basically hit reload,
Hmm.
and then it looks at the repo, it pulls it back in, and it restarts the application. Actually, we don't have a repo right now, so
Yeah.
I'm
So
surprised it.
my
I wonder if
question
it did
for
anything.
this, the reason I was asking all these questions was like, if I were a person who was trying to make this site
Yeah.
just using this, and I'm not technical, just to say, is that how much of that I can put in? Because we said that proof of concept is doable, but actually
Yeah.
making it to a viable product to maintain it as a non-technical person, it's like when will be the time to roll in the actual developer experts to make sure
Yeah.
that everything's working correctly, and then when to start, how much of it the maintenance can be done by non-technical person versus the
Yeah.
actual technical people.
I think so. Easy-ish answer from me. Like if you're going live with something that's your brand or you're making money or you have private information or anything like that, it's you need to loop in someone immediately and have them review it before it goes live. Um, if you're doing something personal project, anything like that for a school, for whatever nonprofit internal like things, you can deploy it and then until it breaks. Ideally, you loop someone in before it breaks, and then they
Right.
have access.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't really played with the deploy button because that's not how we do things.
Right.
But it does seem like you can go live with domains and
Mhm.
have a live site from, and then just totally manage it in in here. It seems like
Okay.
um, that again. If it's a project, very definitely. If you're a developer, sure, why not? You just because then you could fix it whenever it does break. Um, but yeah, if you're doing anything with semi-professional or commercial, it's well before you go live. And again, because I think you're getting like in the past, I would say with any of these WYSIWYG to deployment things, the performance is garbage.
Hmm.
The performance I've seen, and you can see as I'm clicking through just here, like this is a developer version. If you're familiar with that, it's like outputting a bunch of console stuff. It gets as not performant as this gets. If you deploy it as a production mode, it
It's
gets
more
even better.
right.
Which to me pretty surprising.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like
fast.
we're not speeding up the video. Well, that does nothing, but
right.
These clicks are full page views.
I mean, it's decent, and I will probably try to test the deploy just to see what happens later on,
Yeah.
like offline. But for this, and also we're a little biased in a way that we already know what technical implication, security implication, and all the other things are. So we are aware of it. So we're cautious of that while we're playing with this, or deploying anything, or updating anything. But if you have no idea about it, you probably want to consult with someone who actually have some knowledge on that to make sure that is this okay? Because there's a lot of, especially if it's an e-commerce store, there's like a
Look at
it's just
yeah.
like
So you get
information.
here. You get one. Oops. You get basically one step in, and I'm entering credit card information. Where's that going?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
So that can be
sure,
very scary.
someone trusted them to build something, but you don't have any real relationship with Bolt.new. I mean,
Right.
you're paying them. I'm paying them $40 a month to get a ton of credits to be able to build something on it. But one line of code sends that credit card information to somewhere else.
Yeah. And then there's just that security information as well as all this legal implication on all these things. So we're aware of it because we're used to dealing with all these bigger sites and bigger e-commerce and like enterprise level clients doing all these things, but it can be dangerous. So like, it's always.
You might have to blur this out. I want to see if it's going to go. Let's see how far it goes.
And you're really going to test that out? All right.
Yeah, why not?
And we'll blur it out. Or I'll leave it and then your credit card information will be open.
Yeah, thanks so much.
But yeah, I mean, like it's just kind of.
Whoa! It went.
Oh, great! Where did it go? Now your credit card information is out in the wild.
I just went somewhere. Okay. Well, speaking of don't just trust anything, I just trusted a non-secure site with my credit card information.
So you might want to change that right away.
Yay.
Really, where did it go?
I mean, there is no integration currently, so
probably didn't go anywhere, but
yeah, it was just a
mock-up.
So that was the other thing when I was building this. It actually creates a bunch of mock data for you. So while like this is probably at some point, like when we switched it over to being the products editable, you can switch these over as well. But like all of this is kind of a mock data in the code that you can then convert to some type of CMS. Mm-hmm. Even the ones where I built it in WordPress, and it can actually integrate. If you have it integrating with the database itself, I could ask it to populate the table with test data, and it'll do it. Again, it's like you're working with really fast junior developers.
Yeah.
Like, and by really fast, I mean like I've never seen developers work this fast. Yeah. I can't work as fast as it's doing it. Not that I'm a good developer anymore, but like even when I could, like I can't type that fast. I can't think that fast. Mm-hmm. But it is like you're working with multiple people.
Yeah. I mean, you're saving a lot of time, but at the same time, we're not at a place that it's perfect yet. So you still need someone in a technical, like a higher level lead to make sure that this is actually viable and also secure, because the security is also one of the biggest things. And then you might get sued left and right. So you don't want that.
I'm going to try let me find took a screenshot of a fun error from, I think it was yesterday or last night. Yeah. Like, if anyone wants to take the time to read this, like this was a problem. I tried to get it to fix this problem 7 or 8 different times, and it literally just changed the code that we thought was broken differently in other code, and just kept breaking things in circles.
Wait, are we supposed to see?
Oh, it doesn't have. All right. Let me pull it into. That's right. I'm only sharing my browser window. Yeah. So I feel like you have no idea what you're doing because you're able to put a comment
Yeah.
and then, but it just ignored my comment too. It's like it just kept going and it kept going in circles. And eventually I just reverted all the code it did and made the fix
It's funny
myself.
that you mentioned the offshore developer. I had that experience with offshore experience developer before.
Yeah, I mean, not to knock offshore develop, especially now, especially individuals, but that was almost my thing with offshore, is that you always ended up with a firm,
Mhm.
and it was a let's say 100 people in that firm. That was in the past, right? And you'd put a ticket in, or you thought you were working with someone, and you could tell by the code it was someone different
Yeah.
that sent you something back.
Yeah. I remember there was a time. I think this was way before. Like, I think it was an Accenture days, and then we don't have offshore, and I was at the end. I was so frustrated, but I was joking in a way that it came to a full circle. It literally went chain of email, and getting to whoever worked on it,
Mhm.
and then worked on it, and it came all the way back to me asking the question I asked, and I'm like, and I just remember saying that, holy shit, it came to full circle. I asked this
Right.
question, and after going through 20 different people, it came back to me to ask the question I asked them. So I was like, all right,
Yep.
at least there's something to laugh about.
Yep.
Anyway,
Cool. So are we going to launch our merch site?
well, we'll see. Is it secure? We probably need to do some work. And also, we need to have a design for the actual merch.
Yes, we have to have real products.
Yeah.
But you could do that, right? You can actually have, I mean, you could have videos of people wearing your merch
You know
with
what's funny? Because
real people.
like I said, that we have 4 cocktail recipes, and those, like, I generated images based on that, and
Hmm.
some of them are pretty funny. And I thought that would be a cool shirt to put on. Remember the weird shrimp with like a creepy animal looking thing that came out? It was supposed to be a decoration of a what do you? It's like, it was one of the cocktail. I'll share that with you after.
Yeah.
But they generated so that it looked like a creepy alien shrimp with legs and like a tail and something weird. It's like, it's supposed to be a lemon, and then they put a shrimp,
That's interesting.
and I was like, what the hell is that? But anyways,
Yep.
well, this was interesting, and this was scary and funny and cool at the same time.
Yeah, I think AI is better at doing things like this than coming up with like arguments. Although I do want to try out Manus for an argument on the decoupled headless because
Ooh, we
I'm
should do that next
curious.
time. Yeah, we'll probably do it as
I
a
am doing a talk at 2 talks, one in Denver and one in New York on headless for WordPress, Drupal, and other CMSs. So I'm having to do a lot more research on like
these.
what else. And I feel like by the time I get to the talk, maybe not, that I might be a little less jaded around the whole headless approach around like, especially when you're building. So I'm going to rant a little, or not rant, but like go on. Like my biggest complaint around headless was that it takes too long to build out the UI.
Mhm.
Not too long, but like why? When you're just building in PHP, you already have things.
Right.
But if you can build nice looking websites with, because you can build any type of website with these types of tools now,
Right.
that has all the UI components built in. And I know there have always been UI libraries, but actually making them look nice, um, that argument goes away.
Yep.
And now you're dealing with the management side of it, which maybe AI can manage it as well. And at some point, maybe my whole argument goes away. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see. And well, I'm doing the talk on the WordPress career,
Yeah.
which is interesting with AI into the mix. So, whatever I had initially had it in thought is shifted a little bit with, because I want to include this whole AI
Yeah.
stuff now that it's really big portion of developers' life.
At least yours is only in a few weeks. So what can really change in like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, yeah, but then I do
Everything.
want to integrate that, because like it needs to be, the people needs to be aware, because like I've
Yeah.
heard stories that like the fresh out of college computer science people can't get a
Yeah.
job because it's they're junior, and then this can replace the junior role. I perceived
Yeah,
her as a
my son's college, all the computer science graduates, no jobs.
right,
It's like
right. So
companies need to hire those people because otherwise, eventually, they run out of people to do the things that actually need to get done.
right,
So,
but yeah. With that note, that's
hello.
yeah.
All right, another great session.
Another good session, and we'll see what interesting thing we can come up with next, and then we'll probably put it on a note that what actually happens with the deploy button, and what other steps needs to be done uh, after the fact to make this actually a viable product.
I'm gonna click it as we go out. I'll let you know.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Till next time, then.
Yeah.